Decomposition of functions. So this is something we use in calculus a little more. Just going to kind of go through this because it's nice to know how to decompose a function. In calculus, one needs to recognize how a function can be expressed as a composition of two functions. This can be thought as decomposition of a function. So for an example, if I gave you this function, h is just 3x minus 1 to the fourth, we want to try to think of two functions whose composition would give me 3x minus 1 to the power of 4. It's kind of one way to think about it is whatever's in your parentheses, think about that as being a particular function. So we want a function that's f composed as g, as is put here. That is going to what we want h to look like. So g is going to be the inside part. So if we look for a part that looks like it's inside of another function, we're going to label that part g. So it looks like we could say that g is just my 3x minus 1. Now, if we're looking for that outside part, what we see here is that I can kind of look at this now. As we said that 3x minus 1 is g, that's just g of x to the power of 4. So that means the outside part is just x to the 4, and that would be my f. So we think it would look like this if we're doing this composition. F would be to the fourth, and g of x would be 3x minus 1. So just to make sure this works, let's check it. So if I did do f composed as g, so g inside of f, g is 3x minus 1. So I replace all my x's and f with 3x minus 1. And we get 3x minus 1 to the fourth. So that would be the decomposition of functions. So I can say that h is just the composition of f and g, where f is going to be x squared and g would be 3x minus 1. So bear in mind that you can have multiple kinds of compositions. There's not just or decompositions. I could decompose this other ways as well. So this is the more straightforward, easy one to see. I'm going to erase this and then I'm going to do this just a little differently. So let's bring that function back again. So h, 3x minus 1 to the fourth. We also could just say 3 of x could be g. Meaning that what this is that this is just going to be, this is just g of x minus 1 to the power of 4. So we're trying to think, well, what h can be. All we're going to, or not h, I'm sorry, what can f can be? All we have to do is just take out the g and replace it with an x. So another possible way that we could write this as it could be that f, if we're doing f composed of g, f is going to be x minus 1 to the power 4, and g is just 3 of x. Once again, let's check to make sure that would actually work. F composed with g. We're saying now that g is just 3 to the x. We said f is going to be x minus 1 to the fourth, but replace x with 3 of x. So as I was saying, there are multiple ways that we can do this. What we just want to find is something that is a function. So something like 3 to the x or 3x plus 1, something that still has that x in there. We're going to use that. We have to pull out those x's for that decomposition. So once again, number 3, try to find a decomposition. You may not find all the same decomposition, so I will do at least 2 of them. Well, at least there's 2 that are very straightforward to use. So remember that g of x has to be some sort of component that's going to contain the x's somehow. So one of the easy ones to see here is that we could just take this whole denominator here, and I'm just going to call that g of x. I have to make sure that whatever g is, it's going to somehow contain all my x's in some way that would make sense. So if I do that, this just means that, well, I have 3 over g of x. So now if I want to consider what f of x is, f of x is just going to be this function here. It's just that part that was g, I'm going to replace with x. So this can be f of x is 3 over x, where we have g of x. Let me write that underneath. Is x squared plus x plus 1. So if you do this decomposition, all of this will replace that x at the bottom. And as I said, there's more than one way to do this. Another possibility is that maybe just these 2 here, x squared plus x, is my g. If that's the case, then I can rewrite this as 3 over g of x plus 1. So we're going to say that f of x, if I just take g and replace it with an x, is going to be 3 x plus 1, where we said that g is going to be x squared plus x. So this one's probably the more common one that most people would come up with, but just saying, bear in mind, especially if you plan on taking calculus, that there are other ways to decompose a function.